to another broadcast here from Perryvale Wood, and another broadcast as part of 30 Days Wild, a little project organised here in the United Kingdom by the Wildlife Trusts, encouraging people every day in June to do something to engage with the natural world around them. So I'm trying to hop on every day here or Twitter or somewhere and do something showing what I'm doing, engaging with the natural world, which I tend to do anyway without a project, but hey ho, it's always good. And I thought what we'd do today is what we've done on a couple of these now is have a look at some of the pheromone lures I've been using to look for particular types of moth called the clearwings or the Cecidae. They're an interesting group of moths that aren't easily found by some of the other methods we use, such as light trapping or just searching for them by day. So the alternative method that's being used increasingly is the use of synthetic pheromones that resemble the pheromones produced by the female moths. That attracts the males. They come to the lure, they drop into a container we've got there, and that lets us have a look and see if the species are present in the area. We've got one trap out which we're going to go and have a look at and see if there's anything in it. Got another one that I brought in earlier because I noticed there was at least one in it that was very active and would probably fly away if it was opened in the field. So I brought it in and just chilled that down in the fridge so the moth will have calmed down so we can have a look. So we'll definitely see something unless I completely make a mess of opening that container. But whether we'll find anything in the trap that's currently still active, I don't know. I haven't checked it since putting it out. So it may well have nothing in it, it may have something in it, we don't really know. So it's the joy of looking for things in the real world, of course, you're not guaranteed. And we'll have a quick look at that, we'll go back and look at the one we've got in the container, and that'll give us something to do. So from here I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see where I'm going rather than see my face. You see it's a nice sunny day, which is ideal for them. It's a bit breezy, which is less ideal, because if it's too windy, the plumes of pheromones essentially get blown up out and disrupted, and the moths find it hard to tune in on. But it's not so windy, I think that would be a problem. It's certainly not blowing gales, just a bit of breeze. But we'll turn the camera around. We will turn the camera around, honestly. And we'll go and have a look at one of the lures that I've got out, see how that's doing, and then we'll come back and have a look at the one I brought in earlier that's got something in it, which is always positive. Always good to have some guaranteed observations. So we're just walking up the edge of the reserve here toward the bridle path, and off to the left is obviously various houses and people's homes, and off to the right is the woodland itself. And what we've got hanging in the tree here is the pheromone lure trap. I'll explain how these work again. So in there, in that plastic bung that is infused with the pheromone, the scent essentially of the female moths. This one that I've got out is designed for a species known as the raspberry clearwing. It's a fairly recent colonist to the United Kingdom. Not been in Britain for a long time, so it's rather interesting. There's not any raspberry that I know of growing in this reserve, so not massively optimistic that when we quickly look through there we'll find anything. But I've put it here near to the edge of the reserve because raspberry can be grown as a garden plant, and it's possible some of our neighbours are growing it. I haven't been snooping in everyone's garden to check, of course. So this is probably, for this site, the best chance we've got of this species. If it is going to be about, it may have been drawn in. So we'll have a quick look in the container There's a fly on the outside. I think that's probably just a coincidence. I think the fly is just attracted to the bright yellow plastic and think it's perhaps large flower. Have a quick look inside and see if there are any moths in here. And there are not. Not too surprising. Let me just check the underside as well. So no, so that's not attracting anything. I'll leave it up just for the remainder of this broadcast whilst I'm doing this, just in case anything flies in the next few minutes before I finish for the evening. But what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at another of the lures that I brought in a few minutes before starting this broadcast, because I noticed it did have something in it. And that way, hopefully it'll just, I'll put it into the fridge and it'll just sat down, and that will just cool the moth down, slow its activity down, and allow us to have a look at it. And this method of using pheromone lures to search for moths has been really interesting. It's shown that some of these clearwings are actually quite common here, although despite many decades of moth recording using other methods in the past, none of them had ever been recorded from this site before. So it shows how different methods, different technologies, different techniques can really make a difference to what we find. There's a butterfly flying around here, and another butterfly. Oops. There's a few butterflies around. We're not particularly having a look at butterflies today. We'll do that. We've done that on a previous occasion. We'll probably do another one during the month of June whilst I'm doing these broadcasts. But we'll just cut in now to our visitor centre, our bluebell centre here. There's a bluebell on the outside just to show it's the bluebell centre. And our education centre. So we'll move in here. Lots of equipment down here from sessions that our educators have been running with local schools today. They've been out in the meadows looking for insects, I understand, which is always a good thing to get children to do. But we'll just have a quick look at the lures we've got, and we'll have a quick look. We'll use this book to just confirm the identification of what we found. So I'll go and retrieve the insect, which is being stored in a fridge in here. So what you can see is this is another of those containers that we were looking at before. It's again got the lure, actually two lures in the top. I'll talk about that in just a moment. I'm just going to take the lid off it. Hopefully this moth is now calmed down and won't fly away. Okay, it's not there. So there's the moth. It's not entirely inactive. So what I think we'll do, I'm pretty sure I know what that is. So I was using two lures in here. One for a species called the current clearwing and one called the red-belted clearwing. I put both lures in because combined, those two lures together will tend the colour, which is what I think it is. And this, I would say, is the red-belted. You might just be able to make out. I'll actually go outside and see if the light's any better out in daylight. Let's see if this works any better out here. Yes, I can see now. And hopefully people can. A sort of red band across the middle, across the abdomen there, which makes it red belted clearwing. So one of the lures was for that. So this is a species that's associated with apple. I have recorded it in this area before, in the little orchard at the site called Horsenden Hill, which is just next door to here. But I've not actually recorded this species, assuming I've identified it correctly, which I think I have, from this site. That's not absolutely ideal to view in there, is it? That may be a little bit better. It's quite active, so I think if I took it out the pot, there's a bit of a risk it'll get away. But we may have a quick go at, see if I can put it somewhere where we can have another closer look. Another try in here. So there, I think you can just about make out the red belt there, and the wings there being transparent and clear, hence the name. Clear, attractive species. We'll just quickly show you in the book what it is. So these are the clear wings, and I'm pretty sure it's this species, the red-belted clear wing, rather than properly, which is why I was not wanting to let it out and risk it escaping in this broadcast till I've done that. Anyway, whichever one it is, it'll be new to this site here to Perivale Wood. And just off the insect sitting there in that pot. I will go out now, I'll bring in that other lure that we looked at that didn't have anything. And I'll take this home, take a couple of proper record photographs of it, just in case anybody queries the identification. So that's today. That's another broadcast for 30 days.